With the first pick in the 2013 NBA Draft, the Cleveland Cavaliers select
the NBA Draft. It's a night filled with hope, excitement, and the promise of a brighter future. For struggling franchises, it represents a fresh start, a chance to land the next generational superstar who could transform their team overnight. Fans tune in with dreams of championships, while front offices gamble their futures on teenage prospects and international phenoms. But for every LeBron James, there's a Darko Milicic. For every Dirk Nowitzki, there's an
Anthony Bennett of Toronto.
Names like Kwame Brown, Hasheem Thabeet, and Greg Oden has become synonymous with the term draft bust. When discussing the worst of the worst, these names always come up. But there's one player who has almost been completely forgotten that should be in those conversations. It's June 26th, 2002. The Denver Nuggets had the 5th overall pick, and they selected
Nikoloz Tskitishvili.
Yeah, I'm not even going to try and say that name. Let's just call him Nico. Nico was selected with the 5th overall pick, ahead of future All-Stars like Amari Stoudemire and Karen Butler. The 7-footer from the Republic of Georgia is supposed to be the next big thing, a unicorn before we even used the word. A 7-footer with a jump shot, mobility, and European finesse. The hype was real, but it was all built on potential, not on proof. Scouts compared him to Dirk Nowitzki, a smooth-shooting, modern stretch big. He had spent the previous year playing under Mike D'Antoni in Italy, but there was one problem. He barely even played. Averaging just 6.6 points per game in Italy didn't raise any red flags for NBA executives. They saw raw talent, size, and the magic word, upside. And in the early 2000s, NBA teams were desperate to find the next European sensation. But when he arrived in the NBA, the weaknesses in his game were exposed fast. He wasn't ready for the speed, the physicality, or the pressure. His shot wasn't as smooth as advertised. His footwork was shaky, and he was getting bullied in the paint. His rookie season was rough. He shot an abysmal 32% from the field. By his second year, he was barely in the rotation. The Nuggets, realizing their mistake, traded him after just 2 seasons. From there, he became an NBA nomad. The Warriors, the Timberwolves, the Suns, and then the Clippers. Every stop was shorter than the last. Nico only played 172 total games in the NBA, averaging a whopping 2.9 points before completely vanishing from the league. After leaving the NBA, he played overseas for over a decade, bouncing between leagues in Spain, Iran, Lebanon, and Japan. But he never became the superstar scouts once envisioned. Nico was supposed to be the next Dirk. Instead, he became one of the most forgotten what-ifs in NBA history. He had the size, he had the tools, but in the end, he was just another cautionary tale. A reminder that potential doesn't always translate into greatness. And sometimes, hype can be the biggest bust of all. Today, Nico is largely forgotten in basketball circles. He occasionally speaks about his time in the NBA, reflecting on the pressure and the mistakes. But his story serves as a lesson. No matter how much talent or promise a player has, the NBA isn't for everyone. Every draft class has its risks. Every scout is looking for the next superstar. But for every LeBron James, there's a Nikoloz, there's a Nico. A name that once held promise, but he is now just a footnote in NBA history.